October Books has been open for 40 years in Southampton, but after struggling to pay its rent, it was at threat of closing. Luckily, after an online campaign, in just 5 days, the bookshop had raised enough money to pay the rent. The shop remains open for the foreseeable future, and our reporter Kirstie Chambers went to find out more.
October Books in Portswood was at threat of closing due to money struggles. In an attempt to raise funds, the staff launched an online campaign. Within a matter of days, they raised over their initial target of £2,500.
We were really surprised. We had such a positive response. People donated very quickly and were very keen to make sure that an independent bookshop, that we stayed in Southampton and stayed in Portswood, so that was brilliant.
Members of October Books took over the business last year, since they've been paying off outstanding debts, but struggled to find enough money to afford their rent.
Since we've taken over, we've cleared some outstanding debts that the bookshop had, but it meant that we were struggling to pay our quarterly rent. The other thing that's changed is we used to pay our rent monthly, and now it's quarterly, which means we have to pay a huge chunk at once. We could pay some of it, but we couldn't pay all of it. So that was what the initial fundraiser of £2,500 was for.
Through the online campaign and the generosity of the local public, they raised around £4,500. This paid off their rent and will now go towards a well-needed system update.
We've also got a very old computer system, stock system. I think the original thing was from the early 80s. I always tell our volunteers when they start, they're going to go back in time now. I'm going to experience what computers were like. And unfortunately, the stock system, as well as being quite old, is slowly and gradually dying, really. Functions aren't working anymore, and it's taking up more and more of our time and working less well. So hopefully we'll be able to afford a new stock system now.
In the UK, there are fewer than 1,000 independent bookshops, and over the last 7 years they have fallen by 25%.
The thing is, once they're gone, it's difficult for them to come back again. While they're here, they provide kind of a rich centre of discovery. Of finding things that you didn't expect.
Despite the generous donations, October Books may have to move in the future.
Long term, we're still going to have to look at changing something, possibly finding a new place to rent, or buying a place, or sharing our premises with another not-for-profit or something like that. Our rent is sky high and it's getting higher. So feasibly, we can't continue to pay that and also pay our workers.
They hope to stay in the local area and continue selling books for another 40 years. Kirstie Chambers for That's Solent.